Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Nintendo Review Podcast. I'm Darren Bolton and I'm joined as usual by the delightful Greg. How you doing, Greg?
Yeah, I'm doing good, apart from a few car issues, but yeah, grand.
When you say car, you don't mean Mario Kart or anything like that?
No, real life car, financial trouble.
Expensive problems.
Yeah.
Lee, how are you doing? How's your car? Do you even own a car?
I actually don't own a car. I was just chatting to someone about this. I went to pick my son up from taekwondo training about 20 minutes ago, and we were chatting about life and all that. And Taiwan is so small that everything is just near you. There's a Carrefour 10 minutes that way, which is a supermarket. There's 7-Elevens everywhere. Everything is within 10 minutes walking distance. I can't ask for more in the middle of a city. So what more do you want?
Sounds good, and then you don't get the expensive outgoings like Greg here. I don't own a car either. So anyway, let's get straight into it. We are going to start with the news. So the first bit of news that we're going to chat about is from the Yakuza franchise. I don't know if any of you have played it, but the producer, Daisuke Sato, was asked about the possibility. Obviously, all the games are coming out, are being ported over and being released on the PlayStation 4. And he was asked about, are they going to come to another system like Xbox One or the Nintendo Switch? And he said something which I found really, really annoying. He basically said no, and that the Switch isn't an ideal platform, but he cited the fact that Yakuza 1 and 2 on the Wii U didn't sell very well. So this genius is comparing the sales of possibly the worst selling console of all time of a game on that to what is one of the fastest selling consoles of all time and how it could do there. So it sounds like a really cheap it's either very, very thick or it sounds like a really, really bad excuse. I've not played any. I want every game on the Switch, so it's a bit annoying, but I'm not that bothered really. Have any of you played it? Greg, are you aware of the Yakuza franchise?
Yes, recently I played Yakuza 0 on the PS4, and it was decent. I wouldn't say it was like some amazing graphical powerhouse sort of game, like I imagine you probably could shrink it down and get it on the Switch, but it was okay. Like, I'm not eager to play any more of the games really, because I think they're all kind of set in the same sort of area, and it was already quite repetitive, I thought, so I don't really need any more. But like them saying that it can't be, that it's not the ideal platform, the Switch, it's like they always seem to find some sort of excuse for not putting something on Nintendo platforms like we're sort of used to over the years, and like Switch is doing amazing now, and it's like we're still getting these like silly excuses why Nintendo gamers can't get these games.
It is just general laziness on their behalf, surely. I would love to play them. I've heard so many good things about them, but if it's not coming to Switch, I'm not playing them. And a lot of these games are very old as well. They were on 360 and PlayStation 3, so surely it was an easy port job.
Well, they came to the Wii U.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so
two of them came to the Wii U.
Even easier port
job. But they sold really badly, so obviously they're going to be bad on the Switch.
So surely the cost of porting that from the Wii U to Switch, and they wouldn't have to fiddle with it much, you know, and well, even if they sold 4 copies, they'd make their money back.
Yeah, it is bizarre news, but like you said, Lee, it's a shame because I've heard really good things about it. They're meant to be utterly mental. Are they bonkers?
Yes. The story is definitely the most interesting thing about it. Like the gameplay, like you do some like beat 'em up style fighting throughout, and that can get very repetitive. But the story sort of drives you along, keeps you going. And some minutes is just like really serious. It's almost like almost have you to tears at times, like, but then other times you're just laughing at the ridiculous hilarity of it.
It is a shame. There's not much like it on the Switch either, is there? So it feels like there's a bit of a gap for something like this as well. But well, we're not going to get it, so it's unlucky. But it kind of feeds into some other news this week as well that we weren't going to chat about as such, but it's related. It's 2K saying WWE 2K19 isn't coming to Switch. It's a bit worrying. Especially because the lack of big announcements at E3 and stuff like that. But it's no. I mean, I bought WWE 2K18, and it's no loss.
And I bet you regret it terribly.
I did. It was my girlfriend wanted to give me a game for Christmas, and I didn't know what to get, and I thought, I ain't played a wrestling game in years. I'll get that, and it's pretty terrible. So yeah, so it's no loss, but at the same time, we don't want it to be a pattern of of games not coming to the Switch. But that's fair enough. That's fine. So the next bit of news, which is much more exciting, definitely for me personally, is I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Mario Kart VR got released in Japan, I think last year, and it's meant to be incredible, and it's coming to the UK this year, in a few weeks actually. So it's coming to Tunbridge Wells, Leeds, and I'm very excited that it's coming to London, pretty close to me as well. So I'm definitely going to try this out. Are any of you tempted to come and try out Mario Kart VR?
I would love to. From what I saw, watching videos on YouTube of the VR as well, and the way the carts, when you spin around, the cart spins around you. Otherwise, you'd probably vomit if you spun around so fast after hitting a banana in Mario Kart. So the cart's spinning around you. But to actually grab the question mark blocks, they're hanging above you as if they're balloons, and you've actually got to reach your hand into the air to grab them. And then as you're holding a red shell, for example, you have to physically throw it forward with that throwing motion to propel it forward as well, or backwards. It looked the business, and everybody who came off after playing it said it was the business as well. It was really very fun. Come across to London again? Maybe not. How about you, Greg?
Wow, yeah, that does sound really cool. I'd heard of Mario Kart VR, but I didn't know any of the details about it that you just said there. That actually sounds like really tempting. But
it looks amazing as well.
Obviously, it's not over here in Northern Ireland, not yet anyway. But I can't imagine it coming over here.
Do you have any Hollywood Bowls over in Northern Ireland?
No.
Then doubtful. Then.
No, don't think so. But in terms of VR, I've never actually played any VR games before, and I'm slightly apprehensive about doing it because I went to Alton Towers a couple of years ago with my wife's family, and I'd never been on roller coasters and stuff before, and I'd sort of shied away from doing most of it for the whole day, and then towards the end of the day, went on a few and sort of felt like the big lad that I can do this, so we ended up going on the Smiler at the end, and it absolutely killed me. And I don't think I've been right ever since. I get dizzy even if I'm just on a normal swing, a child swing set or whatever. It's pretty bad. So I don't know how VR would treat me.
It's very different, in all honesty, to roller coasters. But that's not to say you won't feel sick either. I mean, I've played a couple. I've got PSVR and I've done quite a lot of VR stuff. Some of it is really bad, and I still think they're figuring it out on how to best use it, to be honest. It's so early on, they're still not quite sure what works, what doesn't work, how movement works, the control the player's got and stuff like that. So it all affects on how kind of sickening it is, and some are more successful than others. But it's completely different. So I wouldn't rule it out just because you don't because roller coasters do you in. But I love VR personally. I think it's amazing, and I cannot wait to play this.
You're looking to sell your PS4 in VR? No?
Well, no, that is true. I mean, we'll get on to this. We'll chat about that from the listener's question.
And the reason why I brought up Hollywood Bowl as well is because you can book places from August the 3rd on the Hollywood Bowl website. So if any of our listeners are interested, they can go through that.
I'm definitely going to try it out. I cannot wait.
Excellent.
So the next bit of news is about a game that I know Lee definitely loves this.
Ooh,
I'm pretty sure Greg's never played it. Enter the Gungeon. It's about to get another update. Originally, when I heard about it, I thought it was going to be a massive new campaign. It's called The Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, which is an amazing title. But what excites me about it is that it's going to make the game easier, because I can't get past level 3. So I am very excited about this for that reason, because I never thought I was going to finish it. I love it. I think it's amazing, but very, very difficult. So Lee, you must be very excited about this.
I am. It's going to feature hundreds of new rooms apparently. So the way Enter the Gungeon works is kind of each room is drawn to specifics. So each room is carefully designed, but every time you play it, the way they link the rooms together changes. So that's the kind of roguelite element to Enter the Gungeon. The rooms themselves don't change.
Is that how it works?
Yeah. So if you keep on playing, you'll realize the rooms are designed and you'll keep on going into the same rooms every time practically. But there are hundreds of rooms anyway. Now they're going to add hundreds more. dozens of new weapons. They say items, new enemies, new ammo, all the stuff that comes with it. But like you said as well, is that you're going to have the choice as the player, though. You can drop it down to an easier level, carry on as normal. I hope there's not a advanced hard level, because even though I love this game, I still haven't finished it myself either.
Yeah, so I wonder if they'll add online. Have they mentioned that? Oh, that'd be amazing.
Oh, that'd be amazing if they did online, but no, nothing mentioned about that at all, so I shouldn't imagine it would be happening.
That's a big shame. Greg, does this game appeal to you in any way, shape or form?
To be honest, I don't even really know what it is. I've never entered the gungeon, so I'll look into it.
If you like
it's very good.
Top-down, dual-stick shooters, this is, for me, the pinnacle of them. It's really pushed my buttons.
Smash TV meets Ikaruga.
Yeah, with roguelite elements in it.
Does that mean randomly generated?
Only in the layout of the levels, not the actual rooms themselves.
Okay.
It's better than it sounds, to be honest, because like Ikaruga, you don't, like I say, I can't get past level 3. I don't play it now and go to level 3. You always start at level 1, and you have to base, there's five floors, 5 levels. And you have to get through. So the fact that it's using, like, it changes every time makes it much more interesting, because you do have to start from the beginning. That's why I said it's a bit like Ikaruga. You did 5 levels, and you have to start from the beginning and get all the way to the end. Only got a couple of lives, and it's an insane bosses. It's a bullet hell type thing. It's but it is amazing.
And every time you play like level 1, the floor 1, you might come across a different boss, because there are 3 different bosses that you could potentially meet on each level as well.
It does sound interesting.
There's a wealth of content, and the cap it all off, I don't know if Darren said, the DLC that is coming this Thursday, July the 19th, is free.
Bargain.
How much is the game itself?
It costs £10.99.
That's a bargain.
Which is a bargain. It's worth it. It is very good.
Plus, if you got local co-op as well, you can have 2 players playing together. I know you struggle with the co-op though, Greg.
Yeah, at least until my son grows up a wee bit.
I think you'd have to grow up many years for him to get good at gun.
Well, provided my car doesn't give me any more baller, then I might be able to sanction a tenner for Enter the Gungeon.
Whack it on your wish list, at least. Wait for a sale. It is good. So let's continue with the news. So I'm just losing track now. My brain is gone. I don't know if last week we was chatting about Labo and chatting about Mario Kart. Oh no, the week before.
At least a week
They've
before,
released the Labo sort of integration, yeah. And then, so this week, they said there's going to be further updates to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, that is very surprising. Is it going to be really simple, like the Labo integration? Are they going to bring the keyboard integration into it, or something like that? Or is this something more substantial? And does it connect with Nintendo Online Servers that is launching in September? Greg, give us your prediction.
I hope it's a few new cups, with like maybe 2 or 4 more cups, like tracks that we maybe haven't seen before, or maybe some returning tracks like I haven't seen. Like, I'd love to see Wario Stadium 64 return, because I haven't played it since the N64 version, and I loved that track. So hopefully it's new tracks and stuff, and not just some sort of all different, like the Labo update or something.
Same here.
What are you expecting?
I might. To be honest, whenever Deluxe came out, I sort of thought they're not going to add new tracks and stuff to this here, because this is like the ultimate edition of Mario Kart 8. But now that they've said this, and with the online thing coming out in September, I'm almost thinking like it does seem like a really good idea to add a couple of new cups, like as an incentive for people to purchase the online.
Yeah, I agree. Lee, are you as optimistic?
I am, and I would love to get some more I don't want new tracks. I want all the old tracks, and put them all in there. Throw them all in. Everyone that's missing. Upgrade it with your beautiful Mario Kart 8 Deluxe graphics, and brilliant. But more so than that, especially with the online, and we were talking about the online last week. I can't even remember either, Darren. Is that leaderboards, missions, things that have been neglected from Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart Wii. The Mario Kart Wii had all these extra challenges and missions that you could do, and then you could get onto the weekly leaderboard. Things like that would be excellent to be added as extras, just to keep people coming back to it on a weekly basis.
That is a very good idea. I never thought of that, to be honest. I presumed Mario Kart 8 wouldn't get any extra DLC because I'm convinced they're going to release Mario Kart 9 in a couple of years. But then when this happened, I was like, well, it does make sense. They're going to need something to launch the online service with, and they've got nothing. Like we chatted about this last week, other than those NES games. So having extra Mario Kart Cups along with the online service makes a lot of sense. But actually, Lee, your idea, I mean, it's how fickle I am. I'm convinced, but that has convinced me more because it also ties better into online as well, doesn't it? In terms of having leaderboards and better sort of time trial sort of kind of leaderboards, leading into maybe a new app. So having a Mario Kart icon on the Switch Online app, so then we can check these challenges, check high scores. So maybe that's the update. It's more online features for the game that's already there, rather than sort of really loads of new content. And that'd be amazing. I'd be more than happy with that.
I'd be well pumped up for that. Yeah.
The one thing I found about the challenges from the Weavers and whatever is like some people are just insanely good. It's like
yeah.
Their times and like scores are just like untouchable. It's like it's almost off-putting. Like it's daunting to go up against.
That's every game. Every game's like that.
Yeah, you can always click it onto just my friends only, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's beat Greg this week and Darren next week. Done.
I'd have already beaten Greg. So. But every game it's just not even worth competing with people like that. That's why just people on your friends list. That's why I don't know if you played. None of you played Pikmin 3. I know I talk about it a lot, but that's got online leaderboards on the mission mode, and you can't compare your times with your friends.
Can't you?
You can only compare your times with the rest of the world. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's nothing to do with this. But so we're going to get something new on Mario Kart. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's going to be good. So that is it for the news. And now I want to know what you guys have been playing. So Lee, what have you been playing this week? I can see the title, and I'm very, very excited to hear about this because I've not touched it yet. So tell us about it.
Are you going to touch it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'll give it a go. Well, I tell you what, it depends on what you say.
Okay. Well, after this positive, glowing review I gave last week of Wolverblade, I was looking to something a little bit more to bring your expectations down a bit. But it's in that area where if you like this type of game, definitely go for it because the price, which I'll talk about now. Now, the game is called Galak-Z, then it's got a full colon, Variant S. It's a 2D side-scrolling space shooter, action shooter, with huge RPG elements. Now, the publisher's Gung Ho Online Entertainment, they originally planned for it to come on the Switch at $9.99 on June the 28th, and for some reason they missed that date, and now it's just apparently appeared for free. So okay, I'll give it a try. Some people have said, this is it's been very popular, so okay, I'll give it a go. So down to gameplay, the levels you traverse are very similar to a game like Affordable Space Adventures. I'm sure at least one of you has played that one.
That game is amazing.
It was great. I played that with my son, and you're both doing things together. But this is a bit more simplistic, where momentum is the key, like in Affordable Space Adventures. So you're using your ZR trigger button as a boost. So you're boosting your ship through these 2D mazes. ZL then acts as a brake and a reverse. So if you keep on holding down the boost, you go flying off too fast, crash into the corner, lose some energy. So the technique you need is to feather the accelerator and to turn your ship around corners and then to feather the accelerator. It's a level of mastery that takes a few hours of play to get at. Because not only are you trying to feather and balance yourself through these 2D mazes, you've got enemies appearing and your A button is shoot, or depending on what kind of ship you've got, 2 ships available. One is a mech where it's got close range sword attacks. One is a standard starship which has far shooting projectiles. You can power up your shots and unleash missiles now and again. Pretty straightforward in its kind of shooting aesthetics. The graphics are very anime cartoony, but lend themselves to provide clarity between the surroundings and the enemies. It's very easy to pinpoint where an enemy is with handy arrows telling you where everything is. So you've got green arrows saying, hey, this way is an enemy. You got a yellow arrow saying, hey, this is another objective. You got a white arrow saying, this is toward the end of the level. So levels are very short because of it, because you know exactly where to go. So even though it looks like a maze, you're not going to get lost. Levels will last between 1 and 2 minutes, then they're over. Very, very short affairs. Your ship has a shield and a health bar. Once your shield is depleted, your health bar starts depleting. But wait around long enough and your shield will start to automatically upgrade in level. So you're kind of balancing between speed and there's not really any time limit to each mission. Where the RPG elements come, so the RPG elements are from building your ship up. So there are something which you can collect in game called salvage. So by shooting enemies, destroying enemies, completing objectives like killing bosses, you get salvage coins. Now, salvage coins then are used to upgrade your ship, your shields. Time will also do this as well. So it's got that kind of mobile GAS, games as service element to it, where if you wait 24 hours, your ship will come back to full power. There's also other currency called crash coins, which you can purchase for 99 pence for 12 of them, or you can spend up to £48.99 for 1,000 crash coins. And not being a man to spend anything on this type of game, it's one of these games where the grind will come in to gain XP. So you're going to have to do missions every day, maybe 2 or 3 missions, get your maximum XP out of that, and then wait 24 hours before your ship can upgrade and then carry on getting more XP. It's a very, very slow process to upgrade. On the other hand, there are hundreds and hundreds of missions to get through. I think in my very short time with it, I put about 2 hours into it. I've opened up 17 sectors, and each sector has between 3 to 8 missions in it. So there's a lot of different types of missions. Some missions will favor your mech, some missions will favor your faster, longer range shooting spaceship. And there's little else to it other than a squad-based creation system where you upload your team of bots. So by getting XP and by collecting parts in-game, you can build little bots which you then send out to battle other players online in a kind of, I'm trying to think what it's like, in a kind of Fire Emblem Awakening side quest mission type thing. Your bots go off online, they fight players online. If they're successful, they'll bring loot back to you, which will help you again in building up your XP. So what this game...
but you don't actually do anything.
You don't actually do anything. You can go and fight other people's bots. So say you're playing as well. I can go, hey, I want to fight Dazzy B's bots. Your 3 bots, because you only got a maximum of 3. I fight them. If I'm successful against them, I can obtain stuff from defeating your bots. But your bots won't die. They're there to be defeated by other people.
I get it. Okay.
It's repetitive. It's one of these online RPG games which, by doing things every day, you're going to get the most out of it. It's whether or not you want to do that every day. Overall, though...
I'm guessing you don't.
No, it's not for me. It's one of those things that you could spend 5 minutes to 10 minutes a day on, but I'd rather be playing something else. The mechanics of the actual playing the game with the momentum base, so you boost and then you're just floating in that general direction until you turn and boost in the other direction. It's very fiddly, and not in a particularly good way. I suppose if I persevered longer and I got very good with boosting around corners and feathering the accelerator just the right amount, then it could get much better. But even going on to like the 4th mission in a row, there's so many obstacles like spiky plants and animals that are jumping out of the walls beside you to damage your ship as well as the kind of other spaceships that you've got to destroy. I reckon later on Sector 17 it would be soul destroying.
You've not sold it.
No, and it's for free, and I still haven't sold it.
No, I've got it on my Switch, and I'm tempted to delete it before even giving it a go.
I was gonna say, as a kind of sum up, for free, I'd say give it a go, see if it's your thing. But the price that they were asking, which was $9.99 before they said it was for free, there is no chance in hell that I would have ever paid $9.99 for this.
Sounds like bull to me, to be honest. It sounds like a publicity stunt.
It's, yeah.
I was going to charge it $9.99, but now it's free. But loads of in-game sort of purchases options, exactly like mobile. So it sounds like bull to me. But
it's a mobile game with I can imagine if you're just clicking on screen, pointing where you want to go, click, 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 and then clicking another button to shoot because you're moving in that direction. It would work well on mobile. I know you pick your mobile up for 5 minutes, but on the Switch itself, I can't recommend it.
No, okay, I'm deleting it. Greg, are you convinced?
I'd actually never heard of it until Lee brought it up there.
It's the only reason you do this podcast, isn't it? Just to
Yeah.
know what's going on with the Switch.
Yeah, didn't even realise it was like there was a free game to download, but mentioning like microtransactions and grinding, that's like two things I absolutely hate in games. So I don't know, like I looked it up there and like it looks okay, but
it looks okay, it runs okay, it's smooth, it's very cartoony. But even the writing between, your main character is called A-Tac, and the woman you talk to is called Beam, and it's just badly written as well. The story, there's very non-existent story going on about the enemy, and it's a mobile game.
We'll get onto this later, but when there's so much good stuff to play, okay is not a good enough standard, is it?
Exactly.
So, Greg, are you playing a better game than Galak-Z or Z? Z.
I'm playing a wonderful game. I'm currently playing Captain Toad Treasure Tracker on the Switch. You may be familiar with it if you played the Wii U version.
What a game.
Basically, there was a few levels in Super Mario 3D World for the Wii U where Captain Toad went through these little sort of puzzle levels just to collect treasure for Mario, just to help him on his adventure, and that idea was sort of expanded upon for a full game on the Wii U, and it's just such a charming little adventure where basically Captain Toad again it has this little backpack on, and you have to go around like collecting gems and stars. That weighs down so much in his backpack that he can't jump. That's pretty much the excuse for him not being able to jump. So you walk through these levels climbing up ladders and stuff, and it's a really fun little puzzle game, and it's got that good balance of just getting to the star at the end of the level is fairly straightforward for the most part. There are some challenging levels in it, but the real joy comes from collecting 3 hidden gems in each level. And then there's also, after each mission, you get it's like a hidden challenge that doesn't appear until after you've beat the level for the first time. So it may be like collecting a certain amount of coins through the level, or having to sneak through the level so that none of the shy guys or whoever sees you through it. So that's an extra incentive to go back through each of the levels again. But there's also a thing in the Wii U version, you needed a little Toad amiibo, and if you scanned him in, it opened up yet another thing in the levels where you'd have to find a wee pixel Toad. He'd be hiding somewhere in the level, and you just have to like rotate the level and like search through it to try and find him. And once you see him, then you touch on it. You don't need the amiibo for it this time. So once you beat the level the first time, you get the extra challenge, and you also have the option of looking for the pixel Toad. So that's a nice little extra. It's been pretty straightforward in that regard so far. I'm only up to the first boss, who is the King of Pyropuff Peak. Really enjoying my time with it so far. Can't really recommend it enough, especially if you haven't played it.
Are you still loving it?
Yeah, I had done absolutely everything in the Wii U version, and like I know we're getting a few extra Mario Odyssey levels in this one at the expense of the Mario 3D World levels that were in the previous version. But like even without that, I still felt like I wanted to play through it again because I just had such a good time on the Wii U. And I don't think you've played it before, Lee.
I haven't, no. The Wii
Ridiculous.
U, I know it is ridiculous, but it was at the end of the Wii U's life, and it was one of those things that I had moved on, and I had a big enough backlog that I couldn't justify buying any more games. And then Greg and I were talking one day, and he said, "Oh, you play the Wii U, Mario 3D World, Captain Toad levels." Was yeah, and he said, "Oh, 10 times better than that." And I've already enjoyed those little 3D World levels, apart from my analog stick on my Wii U gamepad was playing up, and Captain Toad would now and again, while standing still, all of a sudden just start walking backwards. It made it very difficult, and at least now I can, if my Joy-Con starts breaking down, I can pop a new Joy-Con on. I can't wait. It looks beautiful as well. You said you're on the boss of level 1. Is that big dragon?
Yes, that's the big dragon.
It's just so cartoon. It's like watching a cartoon. It's amazing.
Yeah, like the graphics probably aren't doing anything that's that taxing on the hardware, like, but everything just looks so beautiful and charming, and like I can't fault it at all. I absolutely love it, and it looks great on the TV or on the Switch playing it handheld. One thing I will say, I've played it mostly in handheld so far, but whenever I played it on the TV, there's a few times when you're playing handheld, you have to touch the screen to do certain things, like move platforms around, or like turn wheels or whatever. Whenever you're playing on the TV, you use like the gyros in the controller to like move a pointer around the screen, and that has drifted off quite a lot in my short time playing with it. It's like you can reset it quite easily, like pressing the right analog stick in or the plus button, but it's been slightly irritating in that aspect so far.
Can you use the right analog stick to move the pointer around, or is it just gyro?
The right analog stick moves the camera around.
Oh, of course.
Because like you have the way it works, like you have to like sort of look around the level for different angles to help see with wee hidden spots and stuff.
So it's only gyro?
Yeah. The only other thing is I played through as maybe a level or two before the first boss. It's one of the ones where you go into the minecart and you're moving the camera around. You can do that with the right analog stick, or you can like look around with the Switch, but the movement almost felt a little bit slow. I'm not sure if that's because I'm used to like using the gyro aiming with a few other games where it seems a bit quicker, but I feel like I'm having to move almost too much compared to what I'm wanting to do.
I wonder if there's an option in the menu to get the gyro more sensitive or not.
If there is, I haven't seen it because I did go looking for it. But like those minor wee criticisms aside, it's an amazing game, and I definitely recommend it to anybody.
I can't wait to start
playing. Is it winging your way, Lee?
Yes, it is. Yeah, should be here next week sometime.
So you got to finish Wolfenstein before that.
That is taking longer than I thought.
Yeah, the funny thing for me was like I didn't even like the Captain Toad sections in 3D World that much. Yeah, like I preferred the platforming in 3D World, like, and they were just like a wee distraction. And then like I wasn't that hyped for the game when it originally came out in the Wii U, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. And like just the amount of different things they get you to do throughout it, and all the different wee challenges, it's so good.
And did you complete it 100%, even the infamous final level?
Yeah, I think it's called Mummy Me Maze Forever. It took me so many times, and like you had to collect a certain amount of coins. And I get this thing sometimes when I'm going back to, like, when I'm replaying a game that I've already beat like 100% before. I have this like slight nervousness, like, what if I can't do that again, or what if
I'm old and my reactions aren't quite as quick.
Yeah, but like I'm planning to do absolutely everything in this one again, and so far I see no reason why I wouldn't, because I'm having a great time.
Yeah, it is amazing. I can't wait to get. I've got it. I bought it. I'm going to leave it for a little while, but I think I mentioned last week. I'm playing through Mario 3D World now with my son Hugo. Those Toad levels are really good. Obviously they're so small and so quick, and they are a bit of a diversion within the context of Mario 3D World. But you can sort of see why they did those levels and thought this can be a game on its own, because it's so unique as well. It's so different to anything. I can't think of a game that's even remotely similar to it, to be honest. It sort of like mixes puzzles and platformers and these little dioramas you have to rotate around, and they're so good. And I'm looking forward to getting stuck back into that. But my game this week is another Metroidvania. I think I mentioned last week that I finished Xeodrifter, which was Metroidvania Light, Mummy Demastered. This is also Metroidvania Light, not quite as light as Xeodrifter, which is very, very light. This is a little bit more complex than that. But I loved Xeodrifter and I loved Mummy Demastered. I think I got this for free. I can't remember why. But anyway, so I've had it on my Switch since it came out, and the film was naff. I heard the game was pretty good. Way Forward are amazing, but there's something about it just didn't appeal to me. The Mummy universe didn't appeal to me, but I decided, I'm on a mission to clear all my games, and I absolutely love this, and I ended up blitzing it. It's pretty short. It took me about 6 hours, but I blitzed it in a couple of days because I just loved it that much. It's so basically you play a marine. You're going into to chase the mummy, and you basically, it is a Metroidvania. There's areas you can't reach. You need to get extra powers. You need to get extra guns, and then the further you go on, then you can backtrack and go into other areas. So it's exactly what you expect from this type of game, but it's just everything about it's just really, really, really high quality. It's sort of like 16-bit graphics, as if almost every game I play at the minute is a pixelated retro graphics. But I'm not too bored of the style yet. But it's, and the kind of music's like brilliant 80s synth. Did I say it's called Mummy Demastered? Obviously, because obviously it's all retro, which is quite fun. But the music's amazing. The sound's great. The gameplay, it is simple. Like I say, it's a light version of Metroidvania. There's not loads of backtracking. They have these sort of helicopter points where you can then port to any other bit of the world, but you don't really need to use. I think I used them once or twice. So although you do need to backtrack a little bit, usually it's only like a minute back. You don't have to go back to the beginning of the whole world. Once I left that first little bit of the world, I never went back there. So it's not too kind of heavy on the backtracking. It's just there in a little doses. But it's just really good fun. The weapons are great. The bosses are really good fun. There's probably like 5 or 6 bosses, and it's we've said this about previous games in previous weeks where it's so short. 6 hours is a perfect length for it, that you kind of love it for those 6 hours. Any longer, and it could have turned into a golf story or something like that, where it outstays its welcome. But it's just, if you like Metroidvania, it's sort of like mixed between that and then sort of, feels a bit Contra-ish at times, where you're kind of bombing through rooms, kind of shooting enemies and stuff like that. But it's just really simple, really good fun. And I don't know how much it is, but if you can pick this up for under a tenner and you quite like sort of Contra games or Metroidvania games, then this is it's really surprisingly good. I don't know if any of you guys have got it or have had your eye on it, but do you like sort of Contra games or Metroidvania games, Greg?
Played Super Protector, played through it all.
Oh, what a game!
On the Wii Virtual Console, yeah, absolutely amazing game. Like probably one of my favourite co-op games, to be honest. And yeah, I like Super Metroid as well. So you're sort of like, it sounds good. Like I kind of got burnt out on like the Castlevania games after a while. Like started those on DS with Dawn of Sorrow. And like seemed to play a few and sort of got tired of that formula, so like the term Metroidvania almost like is off-putting to me at the minute, but this looks good, and the fact that it's only 6 hours long is like sort of appealing.
It's more Metroid. I don't know what it plays more like Metroid than it's a Metroid game. You can't help it. Metroidvania is just so ingrained in the sort of gaming sort of community now, isn't it? But it doesn't play like Castlevania in any way, shape or form, or kind of Symphony of the Night or anything like that. It plays like Metroid, very much so. But yeah, if you like those kind of games, seriously, it was so surprising. I was more than ready. Like I bought Volgar. I've never heard of a game called Volgar, and I played that for a minute, and I was just like, no, and I just turned it off, and I wish I never bought it. And I sort of expected the same for this, and I played it, and straight away I was like addicted to it. I was like, no, this is this is amazing. So, what about you, Lee? Is this your kind of game?
I played it on Steam. I didn't quite finish it. I got near the end and I moved on to something else. I should go back to it. The run and gun elements of it are really, really good. It feels fast. It feels tight. The ability to aim up in diagonals as well is really good. The upgrades are exactly what you expect from a Metroidvania. Oh, there's a metal door. My grenade won't blow the metal door. I put some C4 TNT, whatever it is later, and it blows up the metal door. The upgrades are very simplistic in its style, but that's all it needs. One thing I was going to bring up, what did you think about the death routine?
I think this may have changed since launch, so if you played it at launch, maybe we're going to have slightly different versions of it. So for what it is, I think it may have changed, so you tell me if it has. So basically, I never mentioned this, so Greg, basically, did you play Zombie U?
Yes, I beat Zombie U. Yeah.
So I love great game, but when you die and then you have to go find the character who died, and then you can kill them and then get all your weapons. Mummy Demastered does exactly the same as that. So if you die, so you don't play the same character. The idea is that you just keep playing grunts basically. So the sense can have a soldier in. You die and you have to go back to them and then kill. There's a zombie version of that character, and then you get all your weapons and stuff. Now, luckily, originally, because I died, and then I died again before I got there, and I thought, oh my god, if this is like Zombie U, I am screwed. But then I was like, you can't get through the game without all these weapons and power-ups and stuff, so I was like, well. But then I went back, and basically there's both zombies there, so you still got the original one and then the new one, and then in theory, I don't know how much they can stack up, but I had 3 on the go at one point. And obviously, the more that die, the more difficult it is to then kill them all. So I was like, "Oh God!" But I eventually got through it.
I stacked up about 8 in one point. It was right before a boss, and every time
is that exactly the same for you then?
Yeah. When it actually originally released, it was more of an uphill struggle. So you take down your zombie, and it wouldn't give back all your weapons. It would give back your weapons, but it wouldn't give back all your ammo. It wouldn't give back all your health. So then once you picked up all your stuff, you had to go back to a few screens, because it's got enemies that reappear, kill a few enemies to get their drops basically for health and ammo, and just to get to a boss. So I get to a boss, die, and then I go back, kill my zombie, grab my stuff. I've only got half health. Then I'd have to go trolling through all the level again just to get my health back up, back to the boss, die, do it again and again. It's one of those things that on paper sounded like a wonderful, wonderful idea, but when they originally released it anyway, it was just really frustrating.
Yeah, now you get full energy, so you get you've completely full energy, but you don't get full ammo. You probably get about 90% of your ammo, and actually that was the most annoying thing, because it wasn't a challenge. It wasn't well, I'm guessing everyone did the same. You just went into a room, killed some boxes or some enemies, and just wait until all your ammo was topped up. So it had a grind. Your favourite thing, Greg? It was a bit of a grind just on those bosses, and that is the only bit which kind of did my head in. But it sounds like it was worse when you played it. But it was still annoying and unnecessary.
It was sounding so good up until then.
Oh, that's such a minor point. Think of it as the gyro on Toad. It's like the equivalent to that.
Yeah.
But it's if you like it, it's keep your eye on it again in the sale. And then you can't go wrong. So that's what we've been playing this week. And next we have another listener question. So this comes from Anthea, and she asks, what are the games released recently, and say recently maybe within the last sort of 5 to 10 years, what games released recently on Nintendo systems that will have the longevity of Mario et al, and why? So Greg, what game have they released or in the last sort of 5-10 years that do you think that we'll be playing in another 30 years?
That is quite a difficult one, because Nintendo had that thing where like everybody was saying they hadn't really released a new franchise since just like Pikmin back on the GameCube. So I'm not sure how many we've really had, but I would have said Mario Maker, but obviously we're saying that sort of falls under the Mario umbrella. So I guess
I think you can say that.
I'd count Mario Maker. Yeah, it's a new franchise.
Well, yeah, no, I reckon you can say Mario Maker if you want to say that. That works. Okay, it's going to be hard, so you can have it.
Yeah, well, I suppose with something like Mario Maker, like it's the sort of thing they could keep adding new elements to it, like over and over again, like downloadable content and stuff. So I don't see why they couldn't have this sort of like basis where you have your Mario design levels and people keep creating them for years and years, and obviously new elements being introduced every so often that would keep it going.
So do you reckon in 30 years' time, when you're in your 60s, you'll be playing Mario Maker?
Mario Maker 10.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I suppose there's like still a 3D space to fill in.
It's true. Or maybe even just a Maker series. So you could have like Zelda Maker, Metroid Maker, or something like that. So
yeah, Mario Kart Maker. I suppose so.
Oh yeah.
Super
Super Mario Kart style. Yeah, Mario Kart Maker. I'll be bang up for that. Yeah, I think that's a good shout. I love Mario Maker. Let's just hope we get number 2 before we get too excited about 30 years of it.
That would be a perfect title for their online in September, wouldn't it?
It would be perfect. And actually, not that we was the most optimistic podcast there is. I that wouldn't be that big a surprise. It's not that long a shot for them to sort of announce in a few weeks we're going to launch Mario Maker Switch alongside the online service.
I'd be happy.
Maybe I'm dreaming. Oh no, yeah, I loved Mario Maker, and it's a game that I want to play. I wanted to play more than I did, so I'd be bang up for that, playing it more. So Lee, can you think of any games? I mean, there's surely one obvious one.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tout it. I'm gonna open the doors up to Splatoon. Here it is, Splatoon. It's one of these games that, especially in Japan, it's been a runaway success. It's just too big not to have an iteration after iteration now. You know, we're on Splatoon 2. When I'm 70 and the arthritis is settling in, the gyro controls will still be working, so my joints won't be needed so much. Splatoon 25 or whatever it'll be, it'll still be going. I have no doubt about that. But what I expect to see as well is the Inklings are such iconic characters. I expect them to have some spin-off titles with them as well. Maybe sports series, Splatoon Splatball, like a baseball game. Splatoon, I can't even think of any other ones. Splatoon sports series.
Remember, you got your football game that you want to add into Splatoon 2 anyway, so maybe it'll be its own game. But yeah, I think you're right. I think I'd be very surprised if if we're not playing it when we're all, as long as we're still alive in 30 years' time, then I think we'll all be playing Splatoon. Although Greg doesn't play it now, so he won't be playing it. And game, that it is so difficult because, like you said, Greg, they've not released. When I first read it, I was like Pikmin, but that's cheating. I think Lee shot me down on that one. So I don't really know. I think Arms is it? Obviously, I'm trying to think of games that release Arms. Could I see Arms being made? No, not really. I can see Arms being a game in 30 years' time when people like us go, oh, they haven't released an Arms game in years. I think they need to bring back Arms. At best, maybe. It's so difficult to say. I'm trying to think what else they've released. I can't even think what new game. They haven't released loads. Box Boy.
How about something like Mario and Rabbids?
No.
Captain Toad.
You don't think... Well, how about just a sequel to start off? Do you think there would be a sequel to Mario and Rabbids?
Yes. Yeah.
Mario and Rabbids 10 in 20 years' time?
No.
It could be.
No, I can't see it.
It could be the kind of go-to Mario tactical strategy game, you know, and this is the tactical strategy for the future.
Yeah, maybe. Because obviously, Mario RPG, if you think of Paper Mario, that's been going, 20 odd years. So, yeah, you never know. In games, it doesn't, especially Nintendo, we generally only release sort of one big entry in a game per generation. It doesn't take more than having sort of 5 versions of a game for it to go on for over 20 years to close to 30. So you never know. But trying to think Wii Sports type, no.
How about the Warriors games? Hyrule Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors. I can see like Hyrule Warriors 2 coming, for example, but it could branch into other Nintendo franchises.
Yeah, I can see that. I did think of that. I'm not just saying it because you said it. I did actually think of that earlier when I was looking at new Nintendo games. And I did think the Warriors could be it, but I mean, who knows? I think it's a lot to ask for new games to think, yeah, we're going to be playing that in 30 years' time. So I think the fact that Splatoon is there, I think it's still pretty good going, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But thank you, Anthea. So now we're going to do something new. Greg, you're going to teach us about a very new game that we want to play.
Yeah, I was just wanting to have a wee bit of fun for 5 minutes. Basically, I was going to list off...
Because the rest of the podcast has been terrible, so let's have a look at 5 minutes.
Yeah, basically, I just wanted to pit Nintendo franchises against each other, and you guys decide which ones you'd want a new version of. But the game that they're competing against will be gone forever. There will never be another sequel to it. They'll just die. So
don't say Wave Race versus F-Zero.
Oh dear.
Oh no! How can you do this to us, Greg?
Yeah, why don't we just start off with that one then? Wave Race versus F-Zero. It was further down the list, but we'll go with that one.
Oh my god. Lee, do you have a clear winner on this one?
Yes.
I think ultimately I have to, but...
Greg will chop my head off for this one. I prefer F-Zero. Not because of the SNES. I didn't like the SNES F-Zero game. But it's when it hit F-Zero X on the N64. What a game that was. And then the GX on the GameCube. It's time, Nintendo. Let's have a new F-Zero game. I want to be playing online with 30 people online, racing at 1,000 kilometers per hour, knocking Darren off the edge and laughing maniacally as I zip past. Let's do it. Darren, what's yours?
Although, I mean, I love F-Zero GX. I liked F-Zero on the SNES too, but I love F-Zero GX. And I would love an F-Zero more than... It's one of the greatest races of all time, for me. And I would love a new F-Zero. There is a massive but ultimately, Wave Race is better. Wave Race Blue Storm is... it's difficult. I prefer Wave Race 64 to F-Zero, definitely, X, than the N64 versions. And I do prefer Blue Storm to F-Zero GX. It's so difficult because I love them both. So this is why Greg is cruel. But if I had to pick... I know that if they both got announced now, the one that would excite me most would be a new Wave Race.
And
that's what I want more than anything.
I'd be F-Zero X all the way, or whatever F-Zero's called. So Greg, the final decision comes down to you.
I think we know.
Yeah, so I should probably have mentioned that if you guys decide on different games, that I'm probably going to have to be the deciding factor here. And that is a really difficult one. Most of them are probably quite difficult. We all know how much I love Wave Race, and I think this must be like the 5th or 6th consecutive week where we've mentioned Wave Race. I could see myself being content playing like F-Zero GX just whenever I feel like it, because that's almost the perfect F-Zero game. And I'm not saying Wave Race Blue Storm isn't like the perfect Wave Race game, but I think I'm going to have to go with Wave Race in this one. I think I'd love to see a new one.
Unlucky, Lee.
No more. Oh, you put in F-Zero X in the garbage. I better dig out my GameCube.
Right, so next one, maybe slightly easier. Mario Strikers versus Mario Golf.
That's
not that easy.
I have a feeling Darren's going to go for Mario Strikers. But personally, I got a but there. After playing Mario Golf World Tour on the 3DS, I'm going to have to go with Mario Golf. It was so good on the 3DS, and the online competitions and everything they kept on adding was just the pinnacle of golf in my eyes.
Yeah, it's difficult to not be skewed because you think, you know, we had Mario Golf on the 3DS, so I crave a Mario Strikers more because it's been longer. But if you're just blanket saying we're never going to get another Mario Golf if I say Strikers, then that's what makes it difficult. I want a Strikers more than a Golf, but Mario Golf are amazing, and like you say, Lee, I loved the 3DS version of the game, so I want more Mario Golf, so I don't want to have to pick. I guess that's the point of this game. I'm finding it difficult for everything, but so I couldn't play it. I mean, Yeah, I'm still saying that. I think it is because I crave it so much. I am still going to have to say, give me another Strikers, and I'll never play another golf game again.
Down to you again, Greg.
So, oh boy, that is hard.
This has backfired on me badly. Look, like you guys, I think Mario Golf on the 3DS is great, but I could probably quite happily play it again, because like I remember downloading like the DLC courses and stuff, and never really playing them properly. So I still have a lot to go into, but I really love a new Mario Strikers. The one on the Wii is pretty much dead because obviously the online service is down. So we really need another one. Yeah, going with Mario Strikers.
Oh, both of mine are gone.
Forever.
Third time lucky.
Okay, next one. Super Smash Brothers versus Punch-Out.
Oh, that's a bit easier for me. That is Smash Brothers all the way. And it's just because of the content. The Punch-Out on the Wii was great, but I don't think it came close to the nostalgia feel I had for the SNES version, which I loved because I grew up with it as a child, of course. So for me, it was Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I agree. It's got to be Smash Brothers. I mean, I love Punch-Out. I love all the Punch. I love Wii, SNES, the new arcade version. Well, not the new arcade version. It's 30 years old, but I mean, it's new for us because it's on the Switch. And then even the NES version is still amazing. I think it's a great series, but Punch-Out Wii is not that different to Punch-Out NES. And Punch-Out Switch, which I think we'll get, is probably not going to be that different either. So it doesn't evolve, and you could probably actually, you could say the same about Smash Brothers, but there's sheer volume and variety, and it's you can't beat it. Weirdly, I probably enjoyed Punch-Out more than I enjoy Smash on a game by game sort of moment, but no, you can't not have Smash.
It's that multiplayer element, isn't it? You know, that's what pushes it over
Smash Brothers. Bye Punch-Out.
Good stuff. Okay, next one. Mario Kart versus Metroid.
Mario Kart.
I'd go with Mario Kart as well, and I love Metroid Prime, and I'd cry to see it disappear, but it's that multiplayer aspect again, I'm afraid, for me. Mario Kart, especially the 8th one, has been phenomenal.
Yeah, I think I'd probably go Mario Kart as well. WarioWare versus Mario Party.
WarioWare,
yeah. Give me some more online stuff in WarioWare. Can you imagine if they opened it up a bit more?
Yeah, bring a board game aspect to WarioWare as well.
yeah, just add it all in.
And I was just going to say, I say that because there hasn't been a good Mario Party for 15 years. But there's a new Mario Party that comes out this autumn. That may come out and it may be incredible, and maybe the decision will be much more difficult. But at the minute, WarioWare is always... I even like gaming Wario on the Wii U. I don't know if any of you played that, but that multiplayer is really good fun.
Yeah, I like that as well. What I would say is, like, there's been, like, WarioWare series, like, if they could add in more multiplayer elements to it, that would be great, because they seem to focus too much on the single player almost. But if they start expanding that, like, the multiplayer in the GameCube one was great, so if they add more, like, multiplayer and online and stuff, like, new WarioWare would be amazing. But anyway, next one... two more of my old favourites. Excite Bike versus 1080 snowboarding.
Easy. Yeah, Excite Bike 64, any day of the week. Easy. I don't even... 1080 is average anyway, so I'm the wrong person to ask on that front. So, Excite Bike 64, 2.
I did love 1080 on the N64 more than the GameCube version, actually, just because of the feel of the board, the way the board, you're slightly off and you're going to fall over, kind of that reality base in the physics of the board. But yeah, I'm on Excite Bike as well.
Good stuff. Next one, Star Fox versus Pikmin.
Well, there's not been a good... When's the last good Star Fox? Does Star Fox Grand Prix count?
Star Fox Zero counts, and it was amazing.
You thought Star Fox Zero was amazing?
I would say amazing, but I had a really good time with it. The gamepad stuff was slightly annoying, and having to like switch your views between the TV and the gamepad. But generally, like, I had a great time and like got like high score. Like, you could send away for a wee certificate and all if you got over 3,000 hits. So I've got one of those signed by Miyamoto. So
nice one.
It is good. I didn't mind Star Fox Zero, and the Guard Adventure game was awesome too. And I quite like. I'm a big fan. Star Fox 64 is a masterpiece. I wish they I'd love to see a modern version of that with a new story, but that's another issue. But Pikmin is one of my top 5 game franchises of all time. There is absolutely no contest. I'd Pikmin over pretty much everything that's been said so far. So for me, it's got to be Pikmin.
Greg, are you going with Star Fox over Pikmin?
You decide firstly.
I would go with Star Fox.
So it comes down to me. Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah.
And I'm going to upset Darren, sorry. I want...
Oh my god.
I love
just
Pikmin,
killed
and Pikmin
Pikmin.
3 was so good.
Clearly
But
not.
For to have that kind of Star Fox 64 done on the Switch in HD and, you know, everything blown out of all proportion. Star Fox Assault was amazing. Especially, you know, the flying sections. Anyway, yeah, I would love to see a new Star Fox. And a good one at that.
Ridiculous.
Okay, next one. 2D Mario versus Donkey Kong Country.
As a child, Super Mario World, not so much 1, 2, and 3, but Super Mario World was the pinnacle of 2D platformers. Playing through Donkey Kong...
Not so much 1, 2, and 3?
No, they never
Greg.
got me. They never got me. And especially the save situation in number 3, where you had to get to the midpoint of a castle before you could... And you'd have to go through all the other levels again. It didn't quite grasp me as much as other people have in the past. It wasn't until World that I really got into 2D Marios. And Donkey Kong Country, the newer ones, are just perfect 2D platformers, even though they're difficult. This is a very hard one. But I didn't like the SNES Donkey Kong Country games. The hit collision was a bit too all over the place. I'm going to have to go with Mario. But don't give me new Super Mario Brothers again.
Yeah, I would say the recent Donkey Kong games are better than the recent 2D Mario games. But
Yeah.
you can't not say Mario. I just don't think he's... You know, if would want Donkey Kong Country Returns 3 or New Super Mario Brothers Switch, obviously we'd want Donkey Kong, but as a general, you've got to keep Mario, I guess. But that is hard. That is difficult. I've loved all the Donkey Kong games. But that is brutal. But yeah, Mario, gotta be.
Glad I don't have to make a decision on that one. So only a couple of left here. Fire Emblem versus Advance Wars.
Nostalgia playing here. Advance Wars for me. And it's been so long. I love that, you know, the heavy metal kind of style rather than the touchy-feely style that Fire Emblem has employed recently.
Yeah, I think I loved Awakenings. Is one, you know, definitely one of my favourite games. Awakenings is kind of up there with Advance Wars, but the rest of the Fire Emblems didn't grab me as much. And ultimately, every single Advance Wars is amazing. So it's got to be Advance Wars.
Completely agree.
There we go. Not sure I would miss either of them, to be quite honest. Okay, last one, probably predictably, is Mario versus Zelda.
I'm guessing 3D Mario then.
Yeah.
I'll go first, and I'm going to say
go on.
another controversial thing. 3D Mario from N64, you know, the N64 Mario, Super Mario 64, I couldn't remember the name of it, I just said it twice. Super Mario 64. Fantastic. Mario Sunshine, didn't lose me, it's still there. Odyssey, fantastic game, but it's just not Breath of the Wild. I don't think I could live in a world without another 3D Zelda. So, see you later, 3D Mario. What a crime.
I don't know. It's so weird. I enjoy playing Mario more, 3D Mario more. It's more fun. I enjoy it more. It appeals to my kiddie sensibilities. But Zelda impresses me more. It kind of wows me more. It's more kind of like it's more of a it's not an emotional experience, but it targets that. Like Mario is fun, and Zelda's deeper than that. It's more than that. But oh my god, it's like Breath of the Wild in some regard is a better game than Mario Odyssey. But I enjoyed playing Mario Odyssey more in the kind of the smaller moments. But Zelda sticks in my mind more. You know, when I think of like what is a genuinely incredible game, I say Zelda. But I know that in the moments, Mario was more fun to play. So, oh my god. And I think the same. But then, Wind Waker's loads better than Sunshine. Mario 64 is infinitely better than Ocarina of Time, which I could easily be done without.
Just say Mario and let Greg have the decision.
Yeah, you know what? But I think you're right. Right, I am going to say Mario because ultimately I find it more fun. I am going to say bye-bye Zelda and welcome Mario. So, Greg.
It's like choosing between your children. But
since
I only have one child at the moment, and that child is Mario.
Oh,
I like Zelda a lot. Love Ocarina of Time, love Wind Waker, love Skyward Sword, whatever. But there's just always something special about the release of a new 3D Mario game. It's just so special to me, like even more special than Zelda. And I just have to go with Mario. I don't think I could live for the rest of my life without another 3D Mario game.
Oh, we got a 2D Mario.
We could have 2D Zelda.
Yeah, good point.
Sorry, Zelda's dead forever.
the whole thing. Yeah, I think Mario 64, 2 Galaxy games and Odyssey versus Wind Waker and Breath of the Wild in the 3D stakes. Nah. Overrated.
Ocarina.
So what have we killed? So we've killed Pikmin, Zelda, Mario Party, F-Zero,
Fire Emblem,
Punch Out.
Half of Nintendo's franchises have gone.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, so it's good that. Well done. So alright then, we've got another Wave Race coming, that's all that matters. Wave Race or every other Nintendo franchise. Wave Race. So that's all our favourite children dead for the day. So I've got a busy day ahead now and I don't know if I can cope with the rest of the day. So thank you, Greg. But no, that was good fun. I enjoyed that. That was really good. So thanks again as always, Greg and Lee. And thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, bye.
Bye-bye, Zelda. Thank you for listening to Nintendo Review Podcast. You can find this very podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, and TuneIn. Just search for the Nintendo Review Podcast. We are also on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, where you'll find great content such as news, reviews, and streams. Of course, you'll also find us at nintendoreview.co.uk. And check out the Nintendo Review Discord channel for lively discussion, meetups, and in-game voice chat. Drop by and say hello.